Hey guys, the Germaniac back again, bringing you another video. Today we have an article by Euronews. Germany lays out exercise scenario for potential conflict between NATO and Russia. Oh boy, more war stuff. They just love talking about this crap, LA. Makes me actually think that they are trying to gear up for a war in like 5 years against Russia, which I don't know where they're going to get people who want to participate in. Uh, Maybe that's why they're increasing citizenship. So then, if they do conscript, they can be like, okay, you're a citizen now. Can you please go die and dig a hole in a ditch in Eastern Europe? Pretty please. Let's go through this. Go through this article and see what it says. And it's by Gilia Carbonaro. The German Ministry of Defense has sketched out a vision of how Russia's invasion of Ukraine could spill over into a NATO-wide conflict. A secret plan by the German government preparing for a potential Russian aggression against NATO has been leaked, revealing that the country's Minister of Defense is bracing for a possible all-out Euro war in the near future. What would that even look like? How could that even be done? It can be done in Europe because, well, one, Ukraine doesn't have nukes, and they're not in a NATO alliance. So it can be done. That can be done. But how would them attacking a Russia, how would Russia versus NATO actually play out? Probably not well. So why would they ever do that? Doesn't make any sense. According to German newspaper Bild, which has seen the plans, the exercise scenario sketched out by the German government foresees an incoming buildup of Russian troops in Belarus and the exclave of Kaliningrad, Russia's most westerly territory, putting pressure on Poland's border. In response to the increased threat, the plan forecasts that NATO will deploy its troops for Eastern Europe, heightening tensions in the region. What might happen next is hard to predict, but the German government has painted a picture of what a possible escalation of the conflict could look like, with Russia using Belarus as a military launchpad once again. So they're basically wargaming it. So like a war game got leaked. In Germany's exercise scenario, the Kremlin would mobilize 200,000 new recruits in February for a new offensive in Ukraine, which would allow Moscow to make significant advances on the ground by June. In July, Russia would begin a campaign of hybrid warfare against the Baltic states. These cyber attacks in Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia would play on Russia's false narratives that Russian-speaking minorities in these countries are being unfairly targeted to a degree that demands intervention. An eruption of violence in these countries will then justify the mobilization of Russian troops into Belarus and Western Russia by September. A month later, Moscow will deploy troops at the Belarusian border with Poland and in Kaliningrad, which sits uncomfortably between Poland and Lithuania, according to the German government. It's then very likely that Russian troops will target the Suwalki Gap, probably Suwalki Gap, a strip of land inside the Polish border with Lithuania. Meanwhile, the Kremlin will push forward anti-NATO narratives at home, claiming the alliance is preparing to attack Russia. Ukraine has launched a drone strike on the Russian city of Voronezh. Officials in Russia confirmed that Kiev targeted the southwestern city early on Tuesday. So, I mean, they've just been talking about this war with Russia nonstop, and potentially Germany and other NATO aligned countries participating in it. Where are they going to get the troops for this? Where are they going to get anyone who wants to participate? I can guarantee you that, like, most people who have joined the military have got it because they thought they could get some sort of easy desk job. And now that you're actually telling them they have to go actually do something, like fight, you're going to get a lot of people, if you gave them the choice, who are like, just not going to go. You probably got like not many people, or even the people you do have, if they have any sense about them, they probably watched the Ukrainian Russian trench warfare and have said, or the drone warfare, and they probably said, yeah, that's not really for me. That sounds like, I'm just going to die. I'm just going to die really quick. The German government scenario expects that NATO would deploy 3,000 troops to its eastern borders in an effort to deter Russian aggression. And maybe that's one of the actual good reasons why we should get more people in the country. You want to join the country? Hey, guess what? First, you gotta go to Eastern Europe and fight Russians. Does that sound fair? But doesn't anticipate that NATO will react until early 2025, crucially after the US presidential elections on November 5th, which may see NATO skeptic Donald Trump re-elected. While the document is certainly frightening, it's a war game. They do this like nonstop. They do this all the time. A spokesperson for the German Ministry of Defense told international news media that the country is not committing to one definite scenario. I guarantee you they've even come up with scenarios to what to do if to fucking fight the US or some shit. So don't be surprised. Basically, I can tell you that considering different scenarios, even though they're extremely unlikely, is part of everyday military business, especially in training, spokesperson said. So of course, it's just normal wargaming. But there has been massive talk about this coming war with Russia, so they have to play up the narrative. But who knows? Maybe we do get a war with Russia in 2025, and all these new citizens, maybe they can have front row seats to, yeah, the fun and glory, which will be the feces infested battlefield, which nobody's gonna want to be a part of if they've got, I don't know, intelligence higher than 85. So anyway, the leaking of Germany's plans comes only days after Sweden's civil defense minister Carl-Oskar Bolin warned citizens that their country might soon face the prospect of war. Sweden isn't currently a member of the NATO alliance, but in the process of joining, a move which is only taken following Russia's invasion of Ukraine on 24th of February 2022. The country is waiting for the approval of the Turkish parliament and the government of Hungary. I think the Turkish parliament has approved Sweden. So I think this article is like a day or two old, but yeah, it's about 4 days old. But it still stands. We've got a lot of talk about this upcoming war. What do you think? Are we going to war with Russia in 2025, 2026? Or is this all propaganda by the Department of Defense trying to get more funds so they can get new desks and new chairs? Maybe that's all it is. They're drumming this up just so they can increase their budget. But that's it for this one. If you liked the video, give it a like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.